Hey guys, it's Brandon. Just wanted to go over a game that I played. I posted 2 comprehensive beatdowns that I took from Chess Explained yesterday, and I don't mind posting the losses or anything, but I thought that some of you who might be new to the channel might be unaware that I actually win chess games occasionally, and I'd like to say thank you to all the new subscribers. I've gone over 500 subscribers. And thank you to all of you guys who have been with me and watching for a while, and I hope you guys continue to enjoy. So this was a game I played on ICC a couple days ago. That was kind of fun, so I thought I'd show. Yeah, I had the black pieces, and my opponent played e4, French, king pawn opening, and I played e6. So we got a French defense, and he played the Tarrasch, which is this move knight d2. Other options, of course, would be the pawn push here, or knight here, or the exchange. Those are the main moves. And I don't really have a system that I'm particularly comfortable with versus the Tarrasch. So I just kind of make it up as I go along half the time, which is not a good idea. But I sort of got away with it in this particular case. I played this move bishop e7, which I think is theoretical. It's a waiting move. And he played bishop d3, logical. And I decided to take on e4 at this point. And he recaptured with the knight, and then I developed my knight here. The idea being that if he just takes this knight here, I recapture with the bishop, and doing okay development-wise. He played c3, I castled, and knight came out to f3, and knight bd7. And now he played bishop g5, which isn't really a pin or anything, and allows me to exchange a couple sets of minor pieces, which I decided to do. Since I have a little bit less space, he has this pawn here on d4, which gives him a little bit of extra space. So I went with knight takes e4, forcing him to first exchange this bishop, and then queen takes, and bishop takes, and now the key sort of idea of this position, of this move, the idea was that now I get to play knight to f6 with a tempo on the light square bishop, which is a valuable piece, and probably he should retreat just to keep it on the aggressive diagonal, which he did. Played bishop to d3, or bishop to c2 actually. And so now I just decided that my plan should probably be to put the bishop on the long diagonal and play for the pawn break c5. So that's why I went for b6. Prepares to put the bishop on b7, and also prepares the c5 break, attacking the center. He played queen e2, and after bishop b7, he went queenside castle, which was interesting. I think he wanted to keep some aggressiveness and dynamism in the position. If he had gone instead kingside castle, I think that after c5 and who knows, takes or whatever, the position is kind of even, pretty equal. It's hard to say if there's any winning chances really for either side. So I think he wanted to keep some life in the position. I mean, it's fine for black if he does this, because black's, out of the opening just fighting for equality. I think this position is perfectly equal. So anyway, he wanted to play some more aggressive chess, so he went for queenside castle, and I went with c5. Now I think c5 has a little bit of more of an advantage of when he takes, it will open up this c file for me, which he did. And I played queen takes. I don't think pawn takes is as good. I think the open c file and the opportunity to push the b pawn down the board here is a little bit more valuable to me than just having the open b file. So he played rook he1, centralizing, and I just got on with the job. I played b5, and he took a tempo to move his king off of the c file, and I just went with b4, which he took. So now I have both the c and the b files open against this king, and so far he has no files open. These pawns haven't even moved yet. So I'm getting a little bit of a maybe sort of a lead in the attack here. So let's see what happened. He went for rook d4, nice move, tempo on the queen, and with the idea of sliding the rook over to h4 possibly putting some pressure on the h7 pawn in combination with the bishop. And so I just played queen b6 back. He played rook h4. No threat against the pawn yet because my knight is just providing enough defense at the moment. So I just took the time to play rook a b8, which is threatening a bishop move, most notably taking the bishop, or taking the knight with an attack on the queen, because when he takes the knight, I'll be uncovering this threat on the b2 pawn, so threatening checkmate. And he played the move b3 to stop the checkmate. Maybe this move was forced. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he should have gone with something like maybe bishop to d something, so bishop to d3, so the queen guards the spot here. I think he didn't want to have his queen sticking around guarding the babysitting the b2 pawn, which is why he didn't do that. But by playing b3, he has sort of left a few dark square weaknesses around his king, which I exploited later on in the game, and my king is still pretty solid. So I just played h6. I took the time to play h6 to sort of try to snuff out any of the coordination on h7 and maybe give my king an escape score at some point. He played knight e5, and I went rook to d8, just centralizing, and he played knight to g4. So the idea obviously is to trade away the defender, the only defender I have sort of on my king right now, and try to get some piece play against my king. So he took with the rook, and here I made a really, really big blunder. I thought his plan would be to move the rook back and slide the queen in here on g4, which turned out was his plan. And I thought that given that plan, I could just I would double onto the d file and try to get rook penetration down onto the 7th rank, which I thought would be very dangerous. And so I played rook d7, and totally missed that he has the opportunity here to play queen e5. I was just thinking about this maneuver with the rook back and the queen here, but with the queen coming to e5, he's actually double attacking my rook and threatening checkmate. So I would have just been losing a rook here, and that would have been bad news. But luckily, he was going for the plan that I had, the only plan that I had thought of. So he went with rook to g3, and now I went with the doubling on the b file. And he played queen g4, threatening mate. And I don't really want to play a move like g6, because playing a move like g6 is just asking for the bishop sacrifice on g6. I mean, it might not be winning in this position, but later on you're just sort of asking for that sacrifice to blow open your king side. And similarly, I don't want to play a move like g5, because then he just has a very quick h4, and things are not looking good for me. So the move I came up with, which was a nice move after queen g4, was queen d4, which was a nice multi-purpose move because it defends the g-pawn and also eyes some of these weak dark squares in his position. So it's a centralizing move, a nice attacking and defending move. And offering the queen trade here I thought was fine for me. I felt that if he took the queens, that my position would just be fantastic in this. I have control of the open file. My rook is very quickly coming to the rank here. This rook, it's unclear what this rook is doing. My bishop is beautiful on the long diagonal, attacking this pawn. I think this endgame is just far superior for black, so I didn't mind going into this endgame at all. And naturally, he was not interested in giving up his attack and going into this much worse endgame, so he played queen h5, which is threatening to take the pawn on h6 because the g-pawn is pinned to the king. And so I just settled my queen in here on f6, another nice move, defending the pawn, but also still keeping an eye on these weakened dark squares. And so he played, oops, let me just move down on the score here. He played the move queen c5. I'm not sure what the point of this move was, except that it attacked the a-pawn, but he really he didn't understand the danger in his position and didn't realize that he had the how open his king was and that he had to be sort of playing defense at this point. He played the move. I played the move Rook D2, and the point of this move is, of course, to attack these pawns on the rank here, and also it pins this bishop, which is nice. It's an unusual pin in the sense that the bishop is pinned because he can't move it, or else the queen comes in here onto this b2 point and delivers checkmate. So, getting a rook on the 7th, pinning his bishop, this position is already very, very, very nice for me, and probably winning. He played the move queen takes a7, actually. Double question mark. I think he thought he could get away with this move, snatching this pawn, because I would have to do something about this bishop, which is hanging. And he did not anticipate the move that I played here, which is rook to c8. Just sacrificing the bishop, and then getting this bishop, and then immediately following up with a checkmate, which would be unstoppable. So after a little bit of time here, he decided he couldn't take the bishop on b7, and instead tried to defend with the rook on c1. But it's too late at this point. The game is already over. The move that I played is bishop e4, taking advantage again of the pin since he can't move it. He can't defend the bishop again, and there's no way for him to, avoid the check and the mate. So just to show what I'm talking about, if he does something like this, then there's check, and there's nothing for him to do. I mean, takes, and then it's checkmate on the next move. There's nothing he can do to stop it. I mean, he could try to defend, but I can even not that. I can even do something like check, king moves back, and I think this would be checkmate here. Whoops, why isn't it letting me move? That's not checkmate immediately because he can block with the queen. But then it's checkmate. So after bishop e4, there's really nothing to do. I also had the winning move, rook takes here, with the idea that if he plays rook takes, I didn't see this in the game, but I have rook check, blocking is the only move, and then bishop check, and there's nowhere for the king to go. He can only stave off mate a little while by doing that, and that would be checkmate. So yeah, that's how the game ended. He actually resigned after rook c1 and bishop to e4. So my way of doing it was fine, but I also had a more spectacular rook takes c2 that I could have played. So yeah, just an interesting opposite sides castling attacking game, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you next time.